If you are specifically taking actions or failing to take actions to protect the country, to undermine the civil society, to destroy the culture, these are high crimes. That's not in your job description. Your job description is, here's your job. Yes, you have to use judgment. But the judgment does not include doing everything you possibly can to fundamentally transform America. And so Mayorkas, on this impeachment issue, it's one and the same thing. Should they impeach Biden? Of course they should. But they're mutually exclusive. You don't say, well, if you don't impeach Biden, you can't do Mayorkas. So why impeach any cabinet secretary? Or why should any cabinet secretary be required to take an oath to uphold the law? If the president, if he's doing what the president says, you know, the Nuremberg trials, Mr. Executive Producer, the defense said I was just taking orders. It didn't fly. I'm just taking orders. That's not good enough. You have an independent moral responsibility to stand up and say no. Under our system, the same thing. But Mayorkas wasn't just following orders. He went to Capitol Hill and he lied through his teeth. And he lied to the American people. And he lied repeatedly over a course of 3 years. And we have people dying. We have people in sex slavery. We have the cartels that own the border. We've got all this going on. So what's the impeachable offense, Mark? Wall Street Journal editorial page is a shameless mouthpiece for open borders, always has been. And there they are saying, here, the Republicans got what they wanted, and they won't even sign it. You nerds over there, you are pathetic. And let me recommend that you should move the headquarters of the Wall Street Journal and the editorial board right down there in McAllen, Texas, right on the border. As you sit in your ivory towers with your finger up your nose, writing these stupid editorials. The American people know exactly what's going on. And then you give aid and comfort to the people who are doing it, and you provide the propaganda for it. So why impeach Mayorkas? Because number one, that is your damn constitutional responsibility. That impeachment clause in the Constitution is there for a reason. It doesn't say impeachment clause for Donald Trump. It's the impeachment clause. Donald Trump makes a phone call, they twist it and turn it into an impeachment? Donald Trump, they accuse of insurrection? Literally within 48 hours, they impeach him and send it to the Senate? And even the worst prosecutor in human history, the special counsel, doesn't charge him with insurrection or sedition or even acts of violence. And he's not even president anymore. But when it comes to this, what's the impeachable offense? High crimes. That phrase comes from English common law. The framers debated impeachment a lot. It comes from English common law. They also looked at the practice of impeachment by the British Parliament vis-a-vis the monarchy. They specifically said you can't impeach for maladministration. The guy's a screw-up, he's a screw-up, you know, that's an... So what does it mean to commit a high crime? Does it mean that a president leaves the Oval Office and shoots 17 people? No. This is impeachment, remember, it's not criminal. There was no criminal code when the Constitution was adopted. There was no Department of Justice. There was no Attorney General. There were not U.S. attorneys, never heard of special counsels and all the rest. The Department of Justice was created under Ulysses S. Grant. The FBI was created by Theodore Roosevelt because he didn't trust the Secret Service. They all have their history, but their history does not reach into the Constitution of the United States. The president's history does. So what does this mean? It means, as Justice Potter Stewart once said it about pornography, I know it when I see it. But it's actually a little bit more substantive than that. I know it when I see what? If you are specifically taking actions or failing to take actions to protect the country, to undermine the civil society, to destroy the culture, these are high crimes. That's not in your job description. Your job description is, here's your job. Yes, you have to use judgment. But the judgment does not include doing everything you possibly can to fundamentally transform America. That's an impeachable offense. Nobody has the power or the authority to fundamentally transform America. I'm using their language. So if you have somebody who is a cabinet secretary in line for the presidency, now he's not right up there, but he is still in line. All cabinet secretaries are at some point. They have a whole succession that's worked out. You have an independent responsibility, an independent oath, an independent duty under the Constitution, and an independent duty to follow existing laws and not to contravene them or usurp them. That's why the man should be impeached, and Joe Biden should too. But not impeaching Joe Biden should not be an excuse to fail to impeach Mayorkas. And as for McClintock's statement, where will this get us? Upholding the Constitution is a moral obligation. It's not a matter of where it gets us. You're holding one person accountable. And this comment that, well, the Senate won't take it up, and if they do, they won't convict, and Joe Biden will just replace him if they do convict with somebody, that's all very interesting. It's all very true. It's also very irrelevant.
Want to see more Mark Levin? Go to levintv.com and subscribe now.